channel. Found the Alchemist here. The topic for today is we're going to talk about how you can still keep your momentum and keep pushing forward, even though you're doing something and you're not seeing result. You know, guys, a lot of times we all start to do something and we're expecting to see result at some point. Where you've done something, you've done everything to the book, you've done everything's asked of you, but then when you look at the result, it's not up to par. It doesn't equal the amount of performance you've been able to put in. And you're beginning to confuse what's going on. You know, even though you're doing all this work, you're doing everything's asked of you, but the result is poor. Now, I'm going to tell you 3 things that you need to do during this time, during this scenario. If you ever catch yourself with a scenario like this, these are things you need to consider. Number 1, you need to remain patient, okay? Every great person out there who have done something great, they've gone through that path where they were doing something and they think they're doing great, and yet they don't see the result. They've been there. So they remain patient, they find out the problem, and they're able to push through. You also have to do the same. Remain patient, okay? Number 2, it's going to tie back to number 1. After you remain patient, you need to reevaluate. Reevaluation. You know, anytime you're doing something like this and you don't see the result that you were expecting, you know, it's time to sit back and do some regression testing, you know. It's like you're doing something in the processes, but then things are not working right. You need to test it, make sure, you know, there might be some loopholes, there might be some angles that you did not touch. It is possible, you know. At this point, you're probably working on this by yourself. I don't know if you have other partners. This is when you bring those other people to take a look. Say, hey, you know, you hear the word many times they say, many hands make light work. This is a true statement. Now, I don't know if you're working on this by yourself or you have other people. If you're working on it by yourself, it's okay. This is why you have to remain patient. Now, the reevaluation, you can do it yourself too. You can take time. If you follow the first process I just talked about, remaining patient, then you can also do some reevaluation and look at the loopholes and say, hey, okay, this is point A to B and C to D. You know, do some testing. Just kind of find out, maybe you can, there are things you didn't see before, you know, you might be able to find some loopholes. It is very possible there might be some loopholes. Number 3, you at this point, you're remaining patient, you've done some reevaluation. Now you need to find other ways that you think you can do this task. You know, you are the coach, you are everything. You know the players. If you're a coach of a soccer team, you know which player is not doing very well. So when you make changes, you remove those players that are tired and put the ones with energy that's going to go in and fill the win and do the job right. So you know, even the Frenchman says, on a change pas l'équipe qui gagne. You cannot change a winning team. So you know what parts, after you've remained patient, you've done your reevaluation, you will know what parts within the process, where is the gap. You know where to make those changes, because you don't want to go and make changes where you're already doing very well there, right? You want to make those changes where you are lacking, where there are some gaps. So remaining patient, doing some reevaluation, finding other ways to do this task. These are the 3 things: patience, reevaluation, and finding other ways that you think you can do this task, because that might just be what you need. You know, if you follow these 3 things, my friends, I promise you the next time we meet, you'll be smiling and telling me about the success story of your journey. And until next time, I have been your boy, Fon the Alchemist. You have a blissful day, and I'll see you at the top.